The iPhone X is packed to the gills with risk. Dozens of new technologies, new input mechanisms, several manufacturing firsts, and an incredibly aggressive timeline to launch. It's clear that Apple needs this to go off right, but how did they execute? Most iPhone reviews are done by technically savvy writers who put them in through their paces locally or in a lab. My thesis was this just wasn't how most people actually use their phones, and that it created a focus on the wrong things. Instead, what if you took an iPhone to a place where millions of people travel every year and used the absolute crap out of it for several days straight? That, I thought, would lend itself to a much more accurate through line between me fiddling with an iPhone for a few days and what the average buyer might be able to divine about how it works for them. So, I took the iPhone X to Disneyland. I'll get right to the point. Most of you probably want to know whether Face ID works. It does. Face ID works very, very, very well. It worked the vast majority of times I tried it. It never once unlocked using a picture of myself or another person's face, and the failure rate seemed to be about the same as Touch ID, aka almost never. The Face ID also enables some other cool things. One prominent example of the way that Face ID enables this is that you get notifications of text messages and apps that are private by default. When you look at the phone, it expands them out so that you can see the contents of what you're looking at. It's super cool, a way to balance privacy and convenience based on context and identity. As far as the camera goes, once again, top-notch effort from Apple. Very similar hardware to what you'd find in an iPhone 8, with some improvements, including stabilization in the telephoto lens and the new 3D camera on the front side, allowing for portrait shots in selfie mode. So I found myself defaulting to 2x mode a lot more, because it allowed for some great captures inside rides at a zoom level that wasn't possible, and shooting portraits in open shade and dimmer lighting conditions, because I had that confidence of that stabilizer. And it turned out some great shots. And then the selfie camera, with the 3D mode on it, turned out some pretty amazing portraits for a pure selfie shot. And yes, the depth of field is a little narrower than you would see on a normal portrait mode, but it still turned out pretty good across the board. Apple's version of an OLED screen is manufactured by Samsung, but it's not an off-the-shelf Samsung part. It's custom-built diamond-patterned OLED array, which is built to Apple's own specifications. What this means is that the colors are bright and saturated without blocking up, and they're incredibly easy to see in direct sunlight, which proved to be really handy when walking around the parks. Now, about that notch. It's caused a lot of consternation, and I completely get why people hate it. They view it as a compromise, and it is. Apple needed the camera and sensor package in there, and this is how it chose to implement it. Overall, using the iPhone X well takes some time. It's a big change from a physical home button to a completely swipe-based interface. But it's fast, fluid, and a ton of fun once you get used to it. Before you know it, you'll forget you ever had to whack a home button to get things done. There are some rough edges here and there. The notch isn't for everyone, and the screen does have some color issues at extreme viewing angles. But overall, Apple bet enormously big on a bunch of technologies all at once on the iPhone X, and it delivered almost across the board. It really is like using the future of smartphones today.